I'd like to thank our sponsors for Season 2, Landmark Title and Pixelist Media. Hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 4. I am super excited for this episode. I have Mallory Gleich, who is the managing editor of the much-loved Arcadia News.
Hello, hello.
Check out the newspapers in there.
Brand new edition.
Funnily enough,
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. Funny enough, there's a realtor just looking at me right from the back page. I'm not sure who that is. Anyway, listen, I hope this goes really well because I want us to be on the front page next time.
Well, so play your cards right.
Right. Make you relaxed. Okay. So that's good. So let's go. So I know you've been working at the Arcadia News for 7 years. Mm-hmm. What made you decide to go into journalism in the first place?
Well, the most recent time that I moved down to Arizona, I kind of moved back and forth during my high school career. So this most recent time, I was working as a server and I wanted my weekends back. And
really?
So I thought to myself, well, I could keep doing this or I could go back to school. And I think at this point I was like 23 or 24. So I was a little bit older than all of the students. And it was actually my dad who said, well, did you know that there's a journalism school in Arizona? And I did not. And so
Which school is that?
Walter Cronkite.
That's right.
Yep. So I did a little bit of research and I thought, well, why not? I'll check it out and see what happens. And here we are.
So from server to managing editor.
Managing editor.
That's a pretty good track.
Yeah.
I like that. So, okay, so you've been doing this a while.
Yes.
What stories have stood out for you?
Well, I think because Arcadia News is a neighborhood newspaper, all of them stand out for their own reasons.
Right.
I like the ones where it's a neighbor helping a neighbor. So, for example, we did a story, and of course I can't think of his name, I apologize.
That's okay.
It was a GoFundMe for a teenager who needed hearing aids. Oh. And so the neighborhood rallied together and like within 48 hours, they had raised, I think like $10,000.
Wow, that's so cool.
There was another one about students at Arcadia High who raised money for their teacher's wife who needed a procedure.
Wow.
But I feel like every story has its own awesome people and point.
So interesting from what you're saying is those two stories were about community coming together.
Yep.
Which is obviously the newspaper.
Oh, 100%. That's what we're all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So why Arcadia News?
Well,
could have gone anywhere.
Well, yes. When I was at school, one of the classes was you had to get 6 stories published in an in-print publication in order to pass the class. And of course on the list was the Arizona Republic and USA Today and the bigger papers, but I have zero desire to write about anything that those newspapers write about.
Right, fair enough.
So I thought I'll go and I'll look for a local paper, something that writes fun stories about the people and the places. And I found Arcadia News. And after the class ended, the editor at the time reached out and said, do you want to keep writing for us? And that was 2014, and I never stopped writing.
Stopped. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting to me is that I wrote a book about, actually I lost my eyesight for a little time in my life.
Wow.
And I wrote a book about that, but I never had a plan for the book. I just started to write. And what really struck me about this, about you being a journalist and journalism, it really just starts with one word.
Yeah.
You know, so if you imagine, you know, you go one word, then another word, then another word, and suddenly you've got a story or you've got a book. So it's such an amazing creative process. And that's what I love about reading stories. If I'm writing something or something like that, it's just very powerful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we see that in the news. So I kind of already got the answer to this, but what and who inspires you to write these articles?
I think it's a mixture of people. I definitely have to give a shout out to Greg Bruns, who was the publisher. He saw something in me and handed me my stories and said, here you go, let's see what you can do. And so I think learning what I learned from him, and then just being immersed in the neighborhood and kind of learning about all the people and the different businesses, and again, the community. That's what inspires me to continue writing for the paper.
I love that. So really you had mentorship.
Yeah.
Which is what happens a lot here, especially with businesses, and you're writing about businesses, and obviously behind that, they're having this mentorship.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question. In one word, how would you describe Arcadia?
I mean, community is the first one that pops out. Local love, but that's 2 words.
No, but that's okay. You're allowed 2. You could have 3, but I did ask for 1.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So, right, quick fire.
Okay.
Movie or book?
Book.
I had a feeling. Hike or nap?
Nap. 100%.
I love that. That's so honest. Okay, LGO or Postino?
Postinos.
Right?
Yeah.
Very good. Call or text?
Text. Or email, actually.
Okay.
Most
so
of the
you want to
time.
hide behind the screen?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not much for being in front of the camera, but this has been fun.
Well, this is totally proved wrong. Anyway, Mallory, this has been great. Well done.
Thank you,
You
sir.
did a fantastic job. And if you want to watch more of these episodes, go to my YouTube channel at Love Arcadia Living, and you will see new guests each week, and you will see how they make this community thrive. So next time, see you as we ride around Arcadia. Let's talk business.